Hi everyone. So today I picked a hymn that's pretty much a classic in Germany. It's called Ich steh an deiner Krippen hier, which is translated about something like I'm standing beside your manger. It's probably one of the most well-known hymns that we have in Germany, and it was written by two of the most well-known people in sacred German music. So I will do my best to boil down all of the information to about 3 minutes. So the text was written by Paul Gerhardt, who was born in 1607 in Gräfenhainichen, which is about an hour north of Leipzig, and he died in 1676 in Lübben an der Spree, which is just over an hour southeast of Berlin. He was a Lutheran pastor in Berlin and eventually got appointed the chief pastor in a town pretty close to Berlin as well. And after his return from that post to Berlin, he got involved in a dispute between the Lutheran clergy and the elector of Berlin and eventually got deposed of his post. But then in the end, he moved to Lübben and stayed there until he died a few years later. He lived through the 30 Years' War, which, together with famines and diseases, killed about 50% of the population in some places, and he lived through that between the ages of 11 and 41. And so the 130 hymns that he wrote show his intense trust in God, even through all of the violence that he lived through. The melody of Ich steh an deiner Krippen hier was written by Johann Sebastian Bach, though the congregations that had the text before he wrote the melody used to sing a melody that was written originally by Martin Luther. So Bach was born in 1685 in Eisenach, which is about halfway between Frankfurt and Leipzig in central Germany, and he died in 1750 in Leipzig itself. He was from a very musical family. A number of his siblings and descendants as well were also famous composers and performers. And as a teen, apparently he walked several hundred miles to study with other musicians, and he eventually arranged and wrote all kinds of different genres of music except for opera. So for about 20 years, he worked all kinds of different jobs until he became the Kantor, which is like the salaried church musician at the Thomaskirche in Leipzig, and he stayed there the remaining 27 years of his life. And during that time, he apparently worked pretty much in a frenzy. He wrote hundreds of cantatas, he wrote 4 passion plays, 1 mass, several hundred hymns and arrangements, and most of those are still being performed today. So the original hymn that we know of had 15 verses. I am not going to sing all of those. I'm not even going to sing the 9 that the Protestant hymnal has today. The Catholic hymnal actually only has 4 stanzas listed in their hymnals. So what I will do, I think, is I will sing verses 1, 4, and 9, and the translation for those goes something like this. I am standing beside your manger, O Jesus, my life. I come to bring and gift you what you have given me. Take, it's my spirit and mind, heart, soul, and courage. Take everything and be well pleased with it. I look at you with joy and can never get enough, and because I can't do anything else, I simply stand here and worship you. Oh, that my mind were a chasm and my soul a wide sea, that I might be able to encompass you. But one thing, my Savior, I hope you won't deny me, that I might carry or wear you in, with, and on me. Let me be your manger. Come and lay down in me with all your joys. So the rest of the verses mostly talk about Jesus being there before the writer's birth to save them like the sun out of the night of death, is what the writer calls it. And then the writer's desire to replace Jesus' bedding of hay and straw with soft, scented flowers. And so, a fun fact, since we're already talking about wars and violence of the 30 Years' War, over 36,000 people die each year from gun violence just in the United States. 61% of those deaths are suicides, about 35% are homicides or murders, And shootings by law enforcement and unintentional shootings account for almost 1.5% each. Unarmed Black people are 5 times more likely to be shot and killed by police than unarmed white people. And 1,500 children each year die from guns. Women in abusive relationships are also 5 times more likely to be killed if their abuser has access to a gun. And interestingly enough, gun violence costs the US $229 billion each year. That's about the same as each American paying about $700 a year. Just thinking back to my time in Boston, my rent for a month was $700. So you pay a month's rent on gun violence each year. And a lot of organizations are working on sensible gun regulation, and that doesn't mean taking away your guns if you have them. What it does mean is more comprehensive background checks, safe storage requirements, and actually checking up on it, and destructions of weapons that are clearly just meant to provide the highest number of kills possible. So, on that happy note, let's go into the hymn. And once again, I'm using my very nifty little hymnal. Ich stehe an deiner Krippen hier, o Jesu, du mein Leben. Ich komme, bring und schenke dir, was du mir hast gegeben. Nimm hin, es ist mein Geist und Sinn, Herz, Seel und Mut, nimm alles hin und lass dir's wohlgefallen. Ich sehe dich mit Freuden an und kann mich nicht satt sehen. Und weil ich nun nichts weiter kann, bleib ich anbetend stehen. Oh, dass mein Sinn ein Abgrund wär und meine Seel ein weites Meer, dass ich dich möchte fassen. Eins aber hoff ich, wirst du mir, mein Heiland, nicht versagen, dass ich dich möge für und für in bei und an mir tragen. So lass mich doch dein Kripplein sein, komm, komm und lege bei mir ein, dich und all deine Freuden. Thank you for tuning in and see you tomorrow.